I do normally really prefer getting right into it, but there are a few things I'll have to cover first. This is a step-by-step guide from character creation all the way to Nightmare Dungeons, but depending on your particular situation, the build you'll aim for and how you will get there may be slightly different. So for the first kind of player, and I'm assuming this covers the majority of you, you want a Druid alt, you already have lots of mats and lots of gold, most of the aspects have been unlocked and the seasonal journey is done, follow the guide like normal. The second kind of player is if you're a fresh start, and I'd recommend you'd follow my renown guide then, I'll link it in the description, get all those extra skill points ASAP, but if you don't care about your renown, you can follow the third type of player, which is you're not a fresh start, but you're either stingy with your mats or kind of poor, haven't done much of the seasonal journey or haven't unlocked many of the aspects required in the build. This is what you're going to have to do differently. Firstly, ignore imprinting the two-handed weapon. You're going to be changing it all the time to whatever has the highest damage, and you won't have the spare materials to throw away and constantly imprint onto it. Secondly, finish the seasonal journey to chapter 2. That has the shockwave aspect, which is mandatory. Thirdly, complete the dungeons I have listed below to unlock the rest of the aspects that are required to make the build function well. Relevant links to the build are all below. Also, while down there, give the video a like and subscribe. I do this for fun and for free at the moment. At 1,000 subs, I can join the partner program, then I'd just be doing it for fun. To start off, we'll begin with the seasonal questline, completing it until around the end of the dry step segment. We're going to go with a Storm Strike Tornado build to begin with. That's Storm Strike into Enhanced Storm Strike into Fierce Storm Strike for the vulnerable, then 5 points into Tornado, Enhanced Tornado, and Raging Tornado. This is the strongest early build druids have at the moment. There are two reasons why we want to start with the seasonal questline. Firstly, you want to do at least the first part to unlock the Malignant Hearts. You'll also be able to bank up a decent amount of low level ones that you can utilize to speed up the leveling process. I recommend using the shit ones at the start in the gear you get, then as you get better rings and amulets, you can put the better ones in. Secondly, more importantly, you are guaranteed to get a rare amulet at the end when you finish the end of the dry steps part, which you can imprint with that 50% bonus. As you progress through the seasonal questline and level up, you want to put points into Earthen Bulwark for the Unstoppable to break out of crowd control, then Vine Creeper because it does huge AoE damage, lastly then Trample for mobility and as an additional crowd control breaker. Keep going with the questline until you eventually battle Vashan for the first time. When you defeat him, leave the dungeon using the scroll menu and talk to the NPC just outside the dungeon. He will reward you with a cache that will have a rare amulet inside of it. Once you have that amulet, you're going to have to complete a dungeon you haven't completed before to unlock the Occultist. I suggest going for ones that are class neutral or for the Druid, or any that you haven't done before that can be paired with a Tree of Whispers bounty. If you have no dungeons left, it's bad luck until about level 20 or 25. Now is a good time to craft some Iron Barb Elixirs for 3 Thorns and 5% experience bonus before you run the dungeon. Once you finish the dungeon and you have unlocked the Occultist by talking to them in Kjovashad, reroll any undesirable affixes on the amulet. Do this only once or twice while the costs are low to get a desirable stat such as move speed or anything else that is better than what you picked. Then imprint the shockwave aspect onto the amulet. If you are lucky enough to have found a decent rare two-hand weapon that you can put shockwave on instead, do that and put retaliation aspect on your amulet. Retaliation aspect gives core skills increased damage based on the amount of fortify you have. Once that's done, refund all skill points and respec to the pulverized build I have linked below. If you're level 14 or higher, clear Tur Dulra for the Druid class quest. If you're not, like me, you can run to Callback to get the waypoint, then run across the Domhainne dopamine tunnels to begin farming until level 14. Then go to Tur Dulra to clear the stronghold for the Druid class quest. When heading to the stronghold, I would first suggest running south to pick up the Firebeak Manor waypoint. We'll need this later. And the side quest that is there, the side quest is super quick. You just have to talk to some dude in Saragar, and you can just do that whenever it's convenient and it's done. From Firebeak Manor, run to Tur Dulra and complete the stronghold. When the stronghold is done, pick up the Druid class quest and port to Firebeak Manor. I told you that we'd need that waypoint later on. Complete the class quest, then return back to Tur Dulra to get your first spirit boon. If you only have 25 spirits, go with the Eagle for 5% crit. If you have 50 or more, go with the Wolf for Energize. Return back here when you have enough spirits to unlock all the spirit boons. Now farm just the start of Domain Tunnels without freeing the prisoners, do loops, killing all the mobs and completing all the events. When you're done, leave the dungeon using the scroll menu, press L to bring up your quest log and hit reset dungeon, then repeat. Credit where credit is due though, I didn't find this method, I first saw it through Rax's channel, and it's believed to be the fastest solo 1 to 50 method that we know of at the moment. If another method does appear, the first part of the guide would still be relevant, just swap out the dungeon farm to whatever the new best method is. So starting from the top down, we are running Ballistic Aspect on our helm. We're always fortified and pulverized as an earth skill, so this is generally great. Next, we're running the Quicksand Aspect on our chest. This enables our pulverize to generate back some spirit with the Umbral Aspect on our ring. Next, we're running the Ursine Horror Aspect on our gloves. This turns our pulverize into an earth skill. We are running Disobedience on our legs. This is still one of the best defensive aspects you can get. And then we're running Ghost Walkers on our boots. This is just a good little movement speed boost every time we're unstoppable, and that happens quite often with our skills. Also, you want to roll move speed on the boots, obviously, and move speed on your amulet as well. Shockwave on the weapon. This more than doubles our damage and allows our pulverize to cover pretty much the whole screen. Retaliation on our neck. We're pretty much always fortified, and it's just a good damage to our core skills. Umbral Ring, of course, this is one of the ways we keep our spirit up. And this is where the build differs from how it used to play, the Mangled Aspect. Now, if you don't know, this was buffed recently. It went from a chance to generate 1 spirit, I believe, to a chance to generate 3 spirit. So yeah, they tripled it. And in the Domhainne tunnels, the little thorn beasts that shoot you with the little, the little spikes, they're like 3 or 4 at a time. Yeah, your spirit just fills up again so quick. It's absolutely clutch to have until you get an Umbral Ring with a good roll. And when you do get that, and if you can sustain, you drop this for the Grisly Rage aspect. Now to Spirit Boons. For the Deer, you'd run Wariness. This is an always you must run. For the Eagle, you'd run Crit. For the Wolf, you run Energize. And for the Snake, you run Obsidian Slam. And this is because Overpower is really, really strong early on. Alright, for the skill tree, we run Maul so we can stay in bear form longer. This is because we want to stack up as much time as possible on Provocation. This is because Overpower is really strong early on, and Maul keeps us in bear form. Of course, we go Wild Impulses for more core skill damage. All our points into Pulverize and into Primal Pulverize to reduce the damage of the enemies we hit. Get crit chance to close enemies, which is good. Damage reduction while in werebear form, which is great. Unstoppable with Earthen Bulwark. 15% damage reduction with Vigilance, always great to keep up. Debilitating Roar into Preserving Debilitating Roar. Another good thing that we can keep up while in Grisly Rage form. Nature's Reach, which is increased damage to enemies that are far away. This helps with the missile aspect of our Pulverize. Trample, which is good mobility, another unstoppable CC break, and it also generates spirit for us. And then Provocation, which is really clutch early on. You'll drop this later on when Overpower is no longer as strong. We take this tree as well. Crushing Earth is just good flat damage to our Earth skills, same as Stone Guard. 2 points in Safeguard because this will generate us extra Fortify. And then 3 points into Defiance for extra Nature Magic skills to elites. And then we get Grisly Rage, that full tree there. And then now this is where you can pick and choose. You can go with Earthen Might to potentially generate more spirit and have those crits, or you can go with Ursine Strength for just a consistent flat 30% damage. It's up to you. You can play with that. Alright, I'll try addressing any potential questions you may have. The first one I can think of is why Pulverize instead of Trample Slide? Trample Slide needs some aspects that aren't available in the Codex, so you can't get it up to full power right away. Additionally, with the current best farming method in Domhainne tunnels, you move from pack to pack so fast that constantly waiting for Vine Creeper resets is be a bit of a drag. Also, crit chance is really low early levels, so resets from Storm Strike wouldn't be as frequent. Why no Grisly Rage aspect? I can imagine being another one. The uptime on Grisly Rage isn't that high early on, and crit chance is really low, so ramping takes a while. Plus the mobs aren't that strong, so 1000% crit damage is really overkill. Lastly, Mangled aspect is way better for overall DPS early on until you can get a good Umbral Ring. When you do get that Umbral Ring, go ahead, swap it in. Why enchant the 200 weapon if you're going to replace it all the time? I also imagine that being a question. Well, it costs like 9 Veiled Crystals and like 20k gold, which is nothing if you've got a good amount of stock. Also, if you only pick up rares, you should be able to do like 5 runs before you have to vendor and check for upgrades, which isn't that much extra time if you're in town. I'll keep the gameplay going in the background so you can see how fast the leveling is. If you have any questions, please comment them below. I'll try to get back to you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if I helped you at all, and I'll see you next time.
not ready yet. I must wait a moment. I'm not ready yet. I must wait a moment. I must wait a moment. must wait a moment.